Hey, what's up? So it's super late. I really want to go to sleep, but I really strive to put out content every single day. And so I just wanted to kind of crank out this video. And what's been on my mind today is this idea that, the guy that needs her the least is usually the guy that is going to win. And so what I mean by that is, just like guys are talking to multiple girls at once, girls, they've got options, right? And so what they're going to do is sort of flesh out who is the strongest guy that they can, that they're in talks with, and go for the strongest guy. So, guys are attracted to women physically, like that's sort of the first thing that we gravitate towards, and women, have the same thing, but also what they're going for is who's the strongest guy. And the best way that they can get a sense for that is how much do you need them. So if you're a guy and you feel like super validated by having like a hot girl like right next to you, and as you interact with them, they start to pull away a little bit to kind of test, like, can you handle that? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to be okay if you don't have her in your life? And to the extent that you don't chase them when that happens, is the extent that you're demonstrating how strong you are as a man. And so naturally, they're going to be more attracted to that, right? And so it's really counterintuitive, because as a guy, you know what you want, and we're sort of programmed to go straight for what we want, right? It's what we do in business, at work, or really anything in our lives, right? If we're going to go lift weights, we're just going to go fucking put the weights on the bar and then lift the bar, and then, we get it done. But with women, you can't have this, beeline attitude, towards, say, any one particular girl. So you might have a list of all the qualities of, the perfect woman that you would ever want to be with. And, if you go for that directly, you're going to get some resistance. And what's going to happen is, the more that you chase the girl, the more she's going to back away. Because also, you have to understand that you have to provide her an opportunity to feel your strength, right? And so she can't feel that if you're constantly chasing after her. And so, it's funny. So, like, a lot of the guys that I listen to, they say the same thing, which is that, the movie's got it wrong. We're all idiots, doing the wrong thing, and really chasing girls away because we're doing stupid shit that we see in the movies, when really it works the opposite way. So a good example is, like a father and his daughter. Like, when the daughter wants the father's attention, she'll run up to him, jump in his lap, whatever, and she'll seek it out when she wants it, and then she'll get it, and then she'll feel loved, But you don't see fathers chasing their daughters around trying to, trying to like obtain the love, right? It doesn't work that way. And so even from like a young age, girls are programmed to, sorry, I just had a message pop up on my phone. Girls are programmed to, seek out love from men, just even from their father-daughter dynamic. That's not to say that fathers don't offer it up freely to begin with, but this is something that happens, often. And I've got 3 daughters. So, why would we reinvent the wheel as adults and try to make it any different? It doesn't work that way. Anytime that you've chased women as a man in your life, you'll notice that, well, really one of two things happen. Like, either the whole thing just fizzles out, it just goes away, or you end up with some woman that is going to emotionally manipulate you because she realizes she's kind of in the chair of power, and she's probably going to resent you because that you're so weak that you can't not chase her, right? That you can't set boundaries and be a strong guy. So it's really tough. Like, if you haven't figured this out on your own, it takes having somebody else spell it out for you sometimes. Like, if you haven't already figured this out, it doesn't click right away for a lot of guys. And so you'll see a lot of guys, because we're programmed to go get what we want, try to go make it happen. And so the guy that needs her the least, and whoever she's talking to, a lot of times it's going to be who she's attracted to the most. Now, what happens if that guy's arrogant? Or what happens if he doesn't show her enough interest? Then she won't be interested either. You know what I mean? So those guys are ruled out. because no one wants to be with a complete asshole, and nobody wants to feel like they're not enough either. So which guy, is strong enough that he's got his own shit going on, that that also shows her some interest, and is not arrogant, and can make her laugh, and all the other things that she wants, right? Confidence, etc. And that's the guy that's going to win. So it's I mean, and I use that terminology "win" because that's what it is. The whole dating thing is a huge competition. It's the fucking gene pool at stake. It's a serious thing. So that's what it is. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, okay. So the other thing was, there's two things you can do. Okay, because if you just do this gimmicky, right, to try to be like the least interested or whatever, like it doesn't work unless you're authentic, right? So as a man, there's two things you can do to make that whole thing come off as, authentic, that you're not indifferent all the way, but you've got shit going on to where if it doesn't work out with this one particular girl, it's not the end of the world. And that's the vibe you want to be putting across. So the two things you can do is, number one, be on your purpose in life. So find whatever your mission is and go after that. And that's got to be number one. The second thing is you can be talking to multiple girls. So at any given time, you might have a couple irons in the fire. And if any one particular thing doesn't work out, or if any one girl decides to test you by pulling away, it's not the end of the world to you in your dating situation because you have other things going on. Now, that can sound really callous, but ultimately, if you don't do that, you're going to be more prone to being affected by when the girl maybe doesn't respond. She's not responsive enough to you through text, or she decides that, she's going to cancel the date, or just whatever happens, right? So this, things will happen that you don't expect that can, tug on the heartstrings a little bit. And the more impervious you are to that through, being on your purpose, having stuff going on, and maybe talking to some other people too, and that's not to say you wouldn't be interested in a long-term relationship. Like if somebody decides that they're interested in you enough to want to lock you down, then you'll have that discussion, and maybe you'll choose to do that. But in the meantime, if that's not what the agreement is, by all means, you should be searching around for what the best thing is for you. So be on your purpose, talk to multiple people, be a quality human being, like be a decent person, and be willing to get into a relationship if that's what you want. But don't be too available. Don't be too eager. And really the bottom line is this: women want a strong guy. So the more you can demonstrate that, by not chasing after them. So it's counterintuitive, right? It almost seems weird or impolite. But remember, you're doing them a favor, because if they pull away and you don't chase, then they can feel that strength. And that's going to be something that they want in their lives anyway, and then they'll come back. And so ultimately, it's a good thing for both people. So that's all I have to say about that. I just want to share that today. And hope everybody has a good night, and I'm about to go to sleep.